Hey, Shalom everyone. This is your brother Daniela, aka the Copper Color Aboriginal. And first and foremost, I want to, give all praises and honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh because, He's good. He is. And I don't have to go into detail why He's good. But also, I want to give recognition to the Holy Spirit and also to Yahweh Shai because the Most High uses both of them to give us understanding of a lot of things, the universe, how we're supposed to serve our God, and how we're supposed to live our lives as Israelites. So, no recognition to them both, because the Most High uses both of them as tools of learning to help us and to turn us into gods, and not the same type of power the Most High is, but gods in our own right. So, anyways, I'm making this video to talk about two things. I do want to say that pretty soon, me and my wife, we will start a series on the book Pistis, Sophia. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make an episode every week, upload an episode every week, and break down Pistis, Sophia. And of course, the Most High, He hasn't unlocked everything, every mystery to us. Just like, most people don't have all the mysteries that are in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have all the mysteries unlocked to us in Pistis, Sophia, but we will share what we have. And of course, other people who, come with us on our journey of breaking down the book of Pistis, Sophia, y'all can put your input too. Tell us what your opinions are, because that's what it's really all about when it comes to learning. It's not about what I say is the golden rule and no one else can put their input in it because everybody are subordinates and all that crap that you see in these churches, these the same crap you see in these camps, and the same thing you see with brothers and sisters who have their own YouTube channel. We're not supposed to be ruling over top of each other like the way we want to, like the way our carnal hearts want to. We want to be like the heathens. We want to place kings over ourselves. We want to be kings over our brothers, and that's not how the Most High intended this lifetime to be for us. Okay. But we got people doing that, and we got brothers who feel like their breakdown is the absolute breakdown, and that there's nothing else. They basically deify themselves, make themselves into little gods, and it is absolutely ridiculous. That's why I don't believe brothers should be a part of camps. I do believe that brothers and sisters should congregate with each other, but I don't believe that you are obligated to come and to be under someone else's command. No. Another man who's trying to get to the same place you are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so if you want to come along with us on our journey, and put your input, more than welcome to, especially if you have read Pistis, Sophia. So most of the stuff that we'll be going over is going to be stuff that me and my wife have already went over before. We've read Pistis, Sophia. We're mostly through the book. Like we're almost finished with the book. We're like at the tail end of the book, and that's sad, man. But it is a great book, and no one else has really made a video, especially in the Hebrew Israelite community. At least from what I found, there aren't brothers and sisters out there who have broken down the book of Pistis, Sophia, and it's one heck of a book. It can be a doozy to read at times, but there are some things that we've understood. The Most High did download some knowledge onto us to where we can connect a lot of things in this book to the Bible, and there's even things in this book that the Bible somewhat touches on but doesn't go into detail about, and we speculate on, but it confirms our speculations. A lot of these speculations that Hebrew Israelites have learned about our future events that are going to take place. We speculate, but this fills in a lot. And it's funny because when I watch like any type of video or read any type of documentation on Pistis Sophia, most of it is coming from Gentiles. And these Gentiles sorely don't understand what this book is talking about. They really believe that this book is talking about some pagan deity, or they think it's simply just talking about Pistis Sophia, the spiritual being Pistis Sophia. Even though there is a spiritual being Pistis Sophia, but they don't understand that she is Israel personified. You know what I'm saying? So they don't understand that. They just simply think it's all about Pistis Sophia, but they're not linking this up to Israel, and they're not linking it up to what has already happened on Earth, and things that happen in Earth, and things that are going to happen on Earth. They didn't link these things up because they don't have those eyes to see. But I firmly believe that, if more brothers and sisters read this book, they would get the same understandings as we did, and probably even more. You know what I'm saying? Because me and my wife, we do know quite a bit of the Bible, but we're not like the most knowledgeable people when it comes. We don't have every breakdown. We don't have every script on the back of our head. You know what I'm saying? There are brothers and sisters out there who know the Bible like the back of their hand. You know what I'm saying? So they could probably break it down even better than we can. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High is definitely using me and my wife right now to try to put this book out there in the forefront, because it is definitely something that we should have in our arsenal, when it comes to getting more understanding. Now, this book does not bring anything in terms of salvation, if you will. It doesn't bring anything, because everything that you need for salvation is in the Bible. It's in the Holy Bible. You can find everything you need for salvation in there. You can get that understanding, and you will be good as long as you endure to the end. You know what I'm saying? But what Pistis Sophia does is it brings you more understanding, and it fills in more holes, and it fills in concepts that were talked about in the Bible but were never really elaborated on. And also what Pistis Sophia does is that it brings you to a higher mystery and a higher understanding, which can earn you a higher place in the kingdom. Okay. I kind of talked about that in my last video, I believe I did, where I talked about, there's different levels of kingship in Yahweh Shai's kingdom. And we do know that, according to the Bible, that there are going to be different levels of kingship. Now, that's why I was saying that we're not supposed to have that. We're not supposed to be ruling on top of each other in this kingdom. But in the next kingdom, I don't know if we're necessarily going to be ruling over top of each other, but there will be different levels of kingship in the kingdom. And Pistis Sophia expounds on that concept and many other concepts. So me and my wife, we will be doing a series. We're probably going to try to start this week. I'm not sure. I do have some events coming up this week, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to start on it this week. But I'm definitely going to be trying to get some material together, this week. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a video this week, but we will be starting it very soon. We've been trying to get other brothers and sisters to read it, especially big YouTubers. Excuse me. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've been trying to get Big Judah to read this, and if you watch my videos in the past, you've heard me mention that many times before, that I'm trying to get Big Judah to read this book. And the reason why is, it's not because I'm being lazy. I don't want to put I felt like I was about to cuss, even though that wasn't on my mind. But I was trying to say footwork, and it sounded like it was about to come out to say Fuck. But anyways, it's not like I don't want to put in the footwork that it takes to break down the book and to put it out there. The only thing is that Big Judah has a very, very large audience, and I feel like this book needs to get out to the masses. You know, there's many times where I've seen people with good content and very little views. On average, I only get like 10 views on a video, the most. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? You know, my wife, she told me, she was like, well, even still, you know, even if I don't get that many views, it will be archived in a way. You know what I'm saying? So even if YouTube is still up a year from now, people can still come across and, you know, see my videos and learn from them. You know, it's kind of like, it's the same thing with the brother from Brother Yerushalayim with a Bible Unlocked. I think that's what his series was called, the Bible Unlocked. How he's doing whatever he's doing right now. You know, Most High knows what he's doing right now. I don't know. Nobody knows. We're all just speculating. But whatever he's doing right now, his videos are still up. And, you know, people are still learning from his work. You know, and that brother was a strong teacher. I really hope that he comes back and teach. I mean, that would be such great news, man. Such great news. I think the reason why people are so on his case is because they really care about him and they hope that he didn't fall back into the world, you know. But anyway, so I been in conversation with Big Judah about Pistis Sophia. I even gave him like a little synopsis. I didn't want to give him too much, just because I want him to read it himself and get his own understanding. But I was trying to let him know what he's going to be getting into, you know, and see if it would pique his interest. Because it's funny, because a lot of stuff that Big Judah talks about in his video, he does. I'm not sure if he knows how true the stuff is that he's saying, because I feel like he's saying all that stuff. Most of the stuff he's saying is through the Spirit, you know, through the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is working with him, but he doesn't have the paperwork to necessarily back up what he's saying. But it's so funny, because a lot of stuff he's saying, when me and my wife watch his videos, we're like, oh my God, Big Judah, just read the book of Pistis Sophia and you will see that everything you're saying is true. And at times it can be very frustrating, because I messaged Big Judah probably at least probably 6 times over the past few months, and he's responded to me a few times. My wife has even reached out to him dozens of times. Well, I ain't gonna say dozens, but I'm gonna say several times, trying to get him to read the book of Pistis Sophia. And I know Big Judah is busy. I know that he's busy doing his thing. You know, he has material lined up, probably, more than likely, and it's probably not on top of his priority list. But, you know, I really think that it's very important for people to get this, you know, especially get this book, because times are very dire, and I think the time approaching to, you know, this big thing that's around the corner that everybody can feel is going to happen very soon. So I really wanted to get out there soon. I really wanted him to pique the interest of his viewers, which are in the thousands. You know what I'm saying? Pique their interest so that they can watch so they can read this book. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what was I gonna say? But yeah, it's kind of frustrating, you know, watching Big Judah's video. I have nothing but love for the brother, but it's kind of frustrating because, you know, I watch Big Judah's videos and he's almost talking about the same thing over and over again, just in different ways. You know, I can only listen to it so much about how the heathen is doing what the heathens do. You know what I'm saying? Ignoring who we are as a people, you know, ignoring our plight, acting like they're the center of the universe, that they have to, that, you know, they have the right to be upset and to throw temper tantrums when they have to be forced to wear masks, that they don't believe that COVID-19 is real, that their government is going to shit and all that stuff. It can be very frustrating to hear that, you know, where it's like, it's almost every day he's talking about it. You know, he was talking about Jedis in the video that, you know, he was watching, and he was basically in the video, from what I got from it, is that, you know, heathens are not original. They're not. You know, they stole the whole concept of Jedi's from. Um, I guess it was written down in Egyptian history of our people basically being Jedi's or Jedi and all this stuff. You know, spiritual masters and mastery and a lot of different things. Um, and the dark side, light side, all that stuff. But you know, it was kind of frustrating because he was like literally reading notes. I believe they were notes from someone who was in communication with him, and I'm like, what you're teaching in this video really doesn't benefit us at all as a people. So I'm like, you know, it's frustrating because he has this big platform. You know, he's a good teacher. You know, when it comes to expounding on things and explaining things, breaking things down. But it seems like recently he's spinning circles because he's talking about the things that don't even matter, and it seems like he's talking about the same things over and over again when he could be literally pushing this new understanding of things like this. Oh my god, man! I'm telling you, I mean, the book, man. This book is amazing, and it's just so sad to that I spoke to Big Jude, and last time he replied to me, he told me that he had the book, but he had yet to read it, and that's just it's kind of disappointing. But at least it shows hope because he mentioned that he had it, and before he never mentioned that he had it, so I'm assuming that he had got it recently. And I know that he got a lot of books and a lot of things that he probably wants to do, projects he wants to do and stuff like that. But I really wish that he would read Pistis Sophia because it will expound on so much stuff that he had already made in his older videos, talking about the stars and all this. Man, I'm telling you. But anyways, I don't want to talk too long about that because I already been talking about that for a minute now. So anyways, that's the plan that me and my wife have. We're going to try to do that sometime in the near future. We're going to try to do a series, called Pistis Sophia, Book of Prophecy. Because it's a book of prophecy, man. It really is. It's a great book. If I could rename it, I will call it probably Pistis Sophia, the Songs of Prophecy. It's crazy. But anyway, so enough of that, the whole Pistis Sophia pitch that I'm giving, because I mean it's a good book, man. And the thing is that this was, I guess, written in Coptic, which was like, I guess, like an ancient Egyptian language, or not ancient Egyptian language, but it's like some type of, I think, like medieval. I don't think it's ancient Egyptian, because ancient Egyptian was written in hieroglyphs, or at least that's what they say. But Coptic came after, so I think Coptic is like medieval Egyptian writing, supposedly. And I put quotes around that. That's why I said supposedly, because we don't know. We're just going off of their word. And I find it so funny because this book, the writings of Pistis Sophia has supposedly been around for a few thousand years. Or I don't want to say a few, well, I guess about a few thousand years. But anyways, the book has been around since like the 5th century or something like that, 2nd or 5th century, something like that, right? And supposedly it was lost, just like a lot of these Coptic writings, right? Pistis Sophia, some of the books from the Nag Hammadi and all these other books, right? They were lost, but then they were found in the 1700s. So the book of the writings of Pistis Sophia was rediscovered in the 1700s. And I'm just thinking to myself, how ironic is that? It's so ironic that this was found in the 1700s. It's so ironic that this was found in Coptic, which is supposed to be like, I guess, like medieval Egyptian language, right? it's just so funny that UB TV he just dropped and this is only for people who donate to him, but he dropped America's Egypt Part 7. And in that documentary, he basically spent almost the whole time talking about Napoleon Bonaparte being a fabricated character, that he's not a real person. Very good. It's a very good video. And basically what he's doing is he's showing how we've been taught lies by history and how a lot of history has been fabricated, right? But in his, I think, Part 6 and also part of Part 7, he goes into how they've been lying basically about Egyptian history. And how Napoleon, or France, in Napoleon, I guess, went into Egypt during the 1700s. Okay? And it's so funny because that's when this book was discovered. This book was, or the writings were rediscovered in the late 1700s, around the same time France supposedly went into Egypt. And the funny thing is that France, like UB said in his video, which he showed to us, is that supposedly it took about 6 weeks to get to Egypt through the Mediterranean Sea, which in reality it should only took several days to get there. But for some reason, France and their fast ships at the time, one of the fastest, they had some of the fastest ships in the world at the time, somehow struggled to make it there. They made it there in 6 weeks. That's more like a journey to the Americas, if anything. Because a journey to the Americas take anywhere from a few weeks to almost a month, or even sometimes a few months, depending on the weather and depending on the time of year that you went. Okay? So we know that when he went to Egypt, he didn't go to no fucking fake Egypt in the middle or northern Africa. He didn't go there. We know he didn't go there. Because remember, at this time, France was also colonizing and recolonizing lands over here in the Americas. So were they really going to Egypt and getting all this work, getting all these Coptic writings and stuff like that? No. They were coming over here to the Americas. They weren't going over there. That's what I meant to say, if I said it backwards. But they weren't going over to the Middle East getting all that stuff. No, they were coming over here. And it's so funny because, you know, I've thought about this, and even UB and Big Judah made this point too, and also Premio made this point. If Egypt, that Egypt over there, is the true Egypt, why is it that Egypt over there was only discovered during the colonization era of America? I mean, Northern Africa it shares the same sea that Spain sits on, that Italy sits on, and that France is not too far from. The Mediterranean Sea is right there. Egypt sits, that place over there called Egypt sits on that same sea, which means it's easily traveled by people in that region. You can easily get there. Doesn't matter what nation you're from over there in the Mediterranean, you can easily get there by sea. Yet they didn't know that there were pyramids in Egypt. They didn't know that Egypt even existed at that time. But then they discover Egypt when they're colonizing the Americas. And they discover all these ancient Egyptian kingdoms and artifacts and all these other artifacts of other kingdoms when they're discovering the Americas. Come on, guys, really think about that. All these artifacts that they got from Egypt, they came from over here. And that's the thing that UB was pointing out. See, if you pay attention to UB, you understand what he's saying. You know, you understand what he's saying when you pay attention to what he's talking about. You know, so that's the same thing with a lot of these writings. A lot of these writings came about after the colonization of the Americas, not before. Like the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, all these Coptic writings, they came about after the colonization of the Americas. Is that a coincidence? I think not. Why? Because they were already on that side of the world. Why did they have to come all the way over? Why did they have to come all the way over here, put most of their resources over here, and at that same time they're discovering stuff over on the other side of the world where they're from? You mean somebody they didn't know that stuff was there the whole time? Yet that's the side of the world that they're from. Come on. The same time they're over here killing our people, looting our riches, our temples, our kingdoms. Talking about very intricate kingdoms with a bunch of dainties and all those little goodies and stuff and artifacts. They're over here looting our place, and then miraculously, you get all that stuff popping up over there. Now they're finding ancient Egyptian stuff. They're finding, cups that supposedly Yahushua drank from and all this stuff. Like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? They published the Bible. Some of the earliest Bibles were printed around the same time, during the same time they were colonizing the Americas. King James Version came about in the 1600s. The Dead Sea Scrolls came about in the 1900s, early 1900s. Either late 1800s, early 1900s. Pistis, Sophia came about in the late 1700s. All these biblical things. The Book of Mormon, okay, that's another good one. The Book of Mormon came about in, I believe, the early 1800s, when they're discovering the Americas. But see, this is like I said before, I like the Mormons. I said this before in one of my videos. I like the Mormons because at least they're not the worst of the devils. They're still devils, but they're not the worst of the devils because they're trying to expose the truth. They're trying to expose the truth just like how we're trying to get the truth out. They may, I don't know what their intentions are, but at least they're more honest than these scholars of Yale, Harvard, all these other universities, the Smithsonian, all that stuff. At least they're more honest than those people. Because at least they will say that the writings that they got from the Book of Mormon came from writings off of plates that they found in Mesoamerica. At least they will tell the truth about that. Okay? But these other Europeans who are part of this system, who are confederate against us, they're going to lie. And they're not going to tell us that. See, the Mormons, they're not really part of that confederation. This is why they hate the Mormons. I don't know if y'all guys noticed, but this system, this beast system, they hate the Mormon church badly. This is why years ago, I think about like 10 years ago, they had that special on Oprah where they raided a lot of those Mormons out there because those Mormons aren't down with their system. See, they don't do that to the Amish. Why? Because the Amish is more than likely down with their system. They more than likely have some type of agreement with the Amish to where they don't even bother those people. But when it comes to the Mormons, oh hell no. They want those people gone. They want those people gone. And that's why they always had all these scandals over really, ever since they've been here, there's always been supposed scandals going on with the Mormons. And that's because they're bringing out the truth. They're at least bringing out some type of truth. They're not the worst of the devils. So if you're not a bad devil like them, they're going to hate you. And I'm talking about this beast system, this system of Babylon. So yeah, I just think it's just so funny how it just happens that we get a lot of these discoveries of biblical. Well, I don't really want to say biblical because biblical is not a correct term, because there was no Bible when our people were writing this literature. But I guess I can use that so you guys can understand what I'm saying. But literature written by our people and ancient people. It's just funny how a lot of this literature started to appear and be rediscovered during the time of them colonizing the Americas. It's amazing. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so I'm not going to dwell too long on this last part because I spent a lot of time talking about Pistis Sophia, which I really didn't intend to do, but it is what it is. But anyway, so another thing I want to talk about is that you reap what you sow. And when you live by the sword, you die by the sword, okay? Now, I saw this disturbing video on Facebook. You guys, you can check it out yourself if you want to watch it. But I'm not going to play the video here just because it can get flagged and all that stuff. But this brother right here, he was shot and killed by this man right here. Shot and killed. And let me say this, okay? So basically what happened in this situation was there was, I guess, a woman arguing with this man. And I'm guessing this guy was either a bystander or he knew what was going on. The story's not clear on what happened. But what happened that we can see is that this guy was arguing with a woman. He was pointing a gun at the woman. It looked like a submachine gun of some type, like maybe like a, I'm gonna say maybe like a Uzi. I mean, I hate using the term submachine gun because a submachine gun it literally means anything beneath a machine gun. So an AR-15 is a submachine gun. You know what I'm saying? Anything, a hunting rifle is a submachine gun. A firearm, a handheld firearm, a handgun is a submachine gun. But it looked like it was maybe like a Uzi or something like that. Sorry, not like a Uzi, a Tech 9. It looked like it was like a Tech 9 that the guy was aiming with. That he had in his hands. I can't really see what it is from here. But just the way he was holding this gun looked like an Uzi. See, it looks like a... I don't want to say that. Maybe it could be an SK because... I don't know. It kind of like it could be like a SK. Which is nothing more than a smaller version of the AK-47. But anyway, so... I'm just going to go right here. So... This guy, I guess, was trying to break up this confrontation that this guy had with this other woman. And he pulled out his gun and he pointed it at this guy, but then he put his hand down and then he let this guy walk off. And he started following this guy. And the guy turned around, started arguing with him, pulled out... Well, he really didn't even really argue with him. He just really said probably a few words, pulled his gun back out after this guy set his gun down, because mind you, he followed him, sat his gun down, and I guess he was talking about fighting him in a fist fight. This guy turns around, says something to him, and just shoots him. Shoot him multiple times, killing him. And let me say this, if you ever pull a gun out on someone, you better use it. I can guarantee you, if there's somebody with a gun that's a threat to another person, okay, and they pull their gun out and they're threatening people, you can best believe if I pull my gun out, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to try to attempt to scare you and hope that it scares you. No, I'm going to use it. I may not use it to kill you, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to make sure that I eliminate the threat. And see, this brother, he messed up because he pulled his gun out and didn't use it. So the guy walked off, came back around, and shot and killed him. Shot and killed him. But see, you know what's so funny is that this guy who got killed, this guy right here, his name is, can't remember his name. Oh yeah, his name is Marquise Bell, okay, of Jackson, Mississippi. You know, This is a classic example of you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Because guess what? A year before, this man killed someone. This is the guy right here who got killed. He killed someone. Him and his little buddy. So this guy killed someone, and then his buddy, I guess, tried to hide the evidence or some stuff like that. I don't know how he got out. Maybe they didn't, convict him or whatever, but he was charged with murder. Okay? And trust and believe, man, when people are charged with murder, most of the time they're involved in that. Trust me, I know from experience. I know from experience. Most of the times those people were involved in murder. So maybe they didn't get something to stick, because a lot of times, let me tell you this. When you watch First 48 and they lock those guys up, and a lot of times they don't have evidence, do you know how often those guys walk? Those guys walk pretty often. Look, talk to anybody who's from the street, who know real street stuff. Like me, for example. I was raised in the hood. I was part of gangs, all that stuff. I have a cousin. I had 3 cousins who were in the same gang that I was in, right? I had a cousin. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. But he killed someone. He killed someone. I wasn't there to witness it. So I can't say anything about it because I wasn't there to witness it. And it's not me not trying to be a snitch, because I believe that you should snitch if it's doing the right thing. If I witnessed my cousin kill someone and they asked me about it, oh yeah, I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to jeopardize my soul just because I want to help someone who's evil. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good. That's how I live. So anyways, my cousin, he killed someone. And he was able, and the reason why I know he killed someone is not because he told me himself, but because several other people who witnessed it told me. Okay? And this was this is way after the fact when they told me this. Of course, they're not going to tell me when he's on trial or whatever. But he got away with murder. He got away with murder. And I can't even tell you how many times I've heard this before with people that I know personally who got away with murder. Sure, there are times where people get charged and they get convicted with murder. I had a very good friend who was charged with murder. He got convicted with murder just like a month ago. I kid you not. About a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, he was charged with murdering a man. And he's from the same block I'm from. We from the same gang, all that. But he stayed with that lifestyle. I didn't. I got to buy that crap. But yeah, my point of saying this is that you can get charged with murder and then be cleared of it, especially if they don't have evidence. And trust and believe, a lot of these young brothers who are killed on the street, they don't put the time in to even fully investigate it, because they just see it as another dead nigga. Good. That's how they see it. So this brother was charged with murder, and maybe he was not convicted for it, but he was charged with it. And usually when people are charged with it, it's enough evidence to show that this person was involved in that person's demise. So I'm not saying that he did it, because I don't know, but this brother got shot and killed. And usually when things like that happens, it's because the Most High is he's dishing out vengeance. You know what I'm saying? So the scripture says you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And that's how this brother lived, and that's how he died. I hope that the Most High can give him whatever mercy the Most High has set up. I don't know. But, I always hope that there's some type of mercy for our people, because a lot of our brothers and sisters, they're just lost, man. They are completely lost. And, how they turn out is the Most High's will. We can't fight that. But, it still doesn't keep me from feeling sad for our people. Because a lot of us didn't ask for this life. At least that I know of, so. Anyways, that's basically all I have to say for now. I'm about to actually read a little bit. before the sun goes down. So yeah. Anyways, guys, talk to you later. Peace out. Shalom, and I pray that the Most High blesses you all. Shalom.